Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. Doing some more work on my Superior Type CA oilfield engine today. This is the force feed oiler off of it. It is a McCord force feed lubricator. And I just wanted to clean it up and make sure everything was operational, and I thought it was, but as it turns out this one pump wasn't working quite right. It would pump oil into the sight glass here, but when it would go to pump and force the oil out, it would force some oil out, but you could also see bubbles getting blown back here. In other words, it would suck the oil in, after it drips out of the dripper into the bottom of the sight glass here. It would suck the oil in and deliver it out, but it would also blow air back up here and make bubbles. So the oil delivery pump, which is this pump back here, it tells me that it's sucking, but it's also blowing back the wrong direction. So I imagine there's a faulty check valve. These pumps work just like a hydraulic jack, really pretty basic. They're just a piston that goes back and forth, an inlet check valve, and an outlet check valve. And as the piston reciprocates back and forth, it sucks oil in through the inlet, and when it pressurizes it, it seats the inlet check valve and pushes open the outlet check valve. This is the metering plunger here. As you can see, there's adjustable lock nuts on here, so as the cam push rod thing, I haven't figured out a name for that yet, the push rod I guess, as that strokes up and down, depending on where you set these lock nuts, it'll change the stroke of the metering piston, and that'll change how many drops per minute you get through the sight glass. And then the rear piston here, that's the delivery piston, that's a positive stroke, positive displacement. Whatever oil is in there, it's going to suck out and push down the line. Anyway, to take this apart, I gotta say I was a little bit nervous from some other stories I've heard, but so far it doesn't seem too bad. There's a number of screws all around here. I took those out, and then I took all the nuts off on top here. I took off these adjusting nuts. I took off this acorn nut that holds this little bar onto the push rod, and also took off this rear acorn nut that joins the bar onto the delivery pump. And then you slide the bar off, keep all your parts organized the way they should be, and then the pump unit can slide right out. And there you have it. And also, if we set that aside, if you look down in here, here's the push rod, operates off a cam. You can just slide it right off, and there's your push rod. And I'm going to, even though these two pumps are functional, I'm going to take these out as well, so I can take this lid fully off and clean out the bottom of the reservoir, because there's a lot of gunk down there. Okay, so I've done a bit of disassembling and head scratching, and I still got a couple or two questions, but I think got it all figured out. It would really help if I had a drawing, cross-sectional drawing of this. I looked a little bit online, couldn't find it. Anyway, there indeed is a check valve in there, and oil is drawn up in here via this piston bore. When the piston's going down, it drives oil up and out this little gooseneck. Somewhere in here there's a check valve. I don't know where it is. I can hear it clinking around if I shake it. I'll take this check valve off and I'll shake it and I'll hear a ball rattling around. I have no idea where it is. I'm sort of inclined to think that it's captive in there somewhere, but this is a serviceable unit. It was designed and made in a day and an age when things were fixable. So I would think that you could access the check valve somehow, but I have not found it yet. Now, the part that really confused me was that the inlet check valve for the delivery plunger is in here. See, there's one remaining copper washer and a threaded hole. This retainer was in there, along with that little ball. That's I don't know, 187 diameter, something like that. So it's a little confusing, but oil drips out of the gooseneck and gets sucked down that plain hole there. That plain hole is drilled down and intersects with a cross hole that is drilled down there. You can see there's a screw that's been soldered over plugging that cross hole. But there's, again, that small top hole there is drilled down, intersects with this cross hole. That cross hole travels sideways until it intersects with the bottom of that threaded hole. There is that check valve in there. Of course, it's removed now, but you can kind of see the seat that the ball sits on, and below that seat is where that cross hole intersects with the vertical hole. And the check ball sits on that seat, and then higher up you can see there's another cross hole drilled higher up. That's on the downstream side of that check ball. And that higher drilled cross hole intersects with this plug, soldered in plug. And there's a passageway down here that brings the oil into the delivery plunger. So again, the delivery plunger is here, and then here's the bottom of the delivery plunger. I have taken the plug out. This is the plug that came out. Hex head plug, some washers, and a spring. And that spring seats this check valve. It's a loose ball and a seat, and it sits upside down that way, and you see the little top hat on the seat there, or the ball carrier, I guess you'd call it. The little top hat thing goes inside that spring, just like so. And that seats against the seat in there. So that's your outlet check valve for the delivery pump. And I previously mentioned there's a check valve in here too, and there is, but I guess it's a secondary check valve. It checks in the same direction as this one here, but I'm guessing this is more of a back pressure check valve. Well, with all the pumps out and neatly organized, you can take a look inside the box. Now keep in mind, this is after removing that from the bottom. If I hadn't cleaned it out, I'm sure I would have just have had another stuck check valve very shortly. But this is the inside of the box. Very simple mechanism. As you see, there's 3 eccentrics, and they just slide along this shaft. Looks like a hexagonal shaft. And then there's the ratchet mechanism. And if I work this lever, the one that just kind of goes back and forth a little bit as the engine's running, you can see how it operates. And then if I just turn the crank handle, that's that. Simple as that. Now back to this pump. I just can't figure it out. Maybe I'll find a drawing, or maybe somebody can leave a comment down below. I can't figure out where the outlet check valve is for the metering piston. I don't get it. This is the inlet check valve. It sucks in. This is the piston volume. It sucks in through this passage when the piston goes down. This check valve checks, forces oil up and out through the gooseneck, but when the piston retracts and goes back up, what's stopping the oil that's in here and then air afterwards sucking in rather than oil sucking in this way? I don't get it. My only guess is that just the restriction in here due to the thick oil is enough of a check valve, because I've taken apart some of these, you know, simple just oil cans, and there's only one check valve. That's the inlet check valve, and the viscosity of the oil and the length and small diameter of the tube acts as your outlet check valve. So that might be the case. At any rate, I gotta say, this is pretty damn simple. It's almost literally a mystery black box from the outside, but you take it apart, it's really not too bad on the inside. It's just pumps and check valves, and it's just figuring out which check valve does what, making sure the springs don't go sprung across your shop, make sure you don't lose any balls. You just got to be careful, especially when you're taking off caps like this. It's a pretty dead giveaway that this is retaining a check valve and a spring. Same with the little guy in there. So let's get this back together. Alright, and that's all there is to it. As you see, I put it back together. I filled it up with oil. Again, if you wanted to prime this a little bit, you can just manually pump that, and you see it squirts oil. I'll do that with all of them, and I'll give it a couple cranks for you. It does make kind of a mess, but just give it a crank. And there you go. That's all there is to it. So that really was not as bad as I thought, I gotta say. Everything works well, it looks good, everything's clean inside. Don't have to worry about it later when I'm running my Superior. I know that the lubricator is going to work the way it should, and on top of that, should something happen, I feel very confident about taking it apart, fixing it. It's very easy, it's basic. Oh, by the way, these are the tools I used to take apart this oiler. And really, just to do, if you wanted to just kind of clean up one of these, if one of them was stuck or something, all you need is a flathead screwdriver and an adjustable wrench. That's it. That's really all you need. I mean, you might need two adjustables when you're undoing this nut. That might spin, so you might need two wrenches. That's it. So there you go. There's a full toolkit for working on one of these oilers. 2 wrenches and a screwdriver. Super basic and simple. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope this helps out some of you people out there if you're rebuilding your own oiler. Let me give you a shot of that there. Maybe I'll clean that plate up too, just so it looks nice. Anyway, again, I hope this helps out some of you people out there. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something. I sure did. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with the little tasks I'll be doing on my Superior Type CA to get it running. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll see it run and make some noise soon. So thanks for watching, everybody, and come on back for more.